up, everybody? Welcome back to the Backseat Startup Podcast, where we give unsolicited advice to strangers on the internet. I'm Luke. I'm the founder of Startup Founder Daily, and today I'm joined by Ryan Solomon. Ryan Solomon is a brand partner and venture associate at Workweek, but most people call you Sully. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. We're glad to have you.
Dude, I'm super excited. I'm happy you reached out to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's how this works. We're going to just open Reddit, the r/startup subreddit. We'll find a question posed by a founder and we'll work through it. You ready to go?
I'm excited. I haven't been on Reddit in a while. I know there's a lot of value on Reddit. I feel like I haven't tapped into it enough. So I'm excited to see what all we could find.
There is a lot going on. And this subreddit, Reddit in particular, has 1 million followers, which is really something.
Wild.
All right. So here we are on r/startups. We can dig into, we can keep scrolling, but this one is interesting since you are a capital allocator. MVP for obtaining seed money. Does this sound interesting to you?
Yeah, let's jump into that.
All right, sounds good. All right, I'll just read through it. Forewarning, this question may be a bit vague, so I will try to explain my situation as best as possible. I'm a software developer who developed a web app that helps busy bars manage orders. I have a functioning prototype that can be demonstrated to investors. My other founder is a business analyst with experience in the restaurant bar space. Our team needs money for UI designer so we can improve our user interface. We also need to start hiring sales reps. Is a solid business plan along with a functioning prototype enough to obtain a $200,000 investment? How do I even determine my company's value at this pre-revenue stage?
All right, awesome. Well, so what immediately comes to mind, there's a handful of things. One is I don't think they need to start hiring sales reps way too early to hire anybody before you even have a product. Two is for a UI designer, there's something called Envaldo Elements. My go-to is to always go and check that out. They always have templates that you can just snag and just repurpose into whatever you need to get like your UI across the board just working. And I think most people, I'm terrible at designing, but I know I could probably figure it out. Or if you want to do a little bit better, find somebody on Fiverr, drop $100. I bet you could find somebody overseas, probably in Eastern Europe, maybe a couple $100 just to get like an actual good or half decent piece of the UI, and then just put together a good deck. And then for the fundraising and the valuation, just raise it on a safe. For those who don't know what a safe is, simple agreement for future equity. That prevents you from actually having a valuation. So that way your investors are investing at the evaluation of the next round is whenever it converts. And very standard, but you can do more or less always, depending on the industry and what product you're building, is like $7 million valuation at 20% discount. That's just like a weird standard. I'm not sure why that is, but it's just a very safe valuation to throw your company at for any reason.
Safe, no pun intended. But yeah, so I had a couple thoughts while we read through this in the first place. So I'm of the opinion that most MVPs are not M enough, and not facing investors necessarily. There's no mention of talking to bar owners. I know the business analyst is apparently has some experience in the space, but you need to throw that into the most simplistic rendering that you can and just go out and talk to people. Not only will you get feedback on whether this idea is worth pursuing in the first place, but even if everyone loves it, you will save so much time and your resources will go so much further by knowing what features are the most important, what needs to be in the very first iterations of the product. This conversation should be happening well before they talk to an investor in the first place. And then I think you had so many good suggestions for when it comes to actually designing the prototype, which I kind of think of a prototype and an MVP as kind of two different things. Some people conflate them. Some people think they are the same thing, and that's fair. But I see them as slightly different. But I think you're totally right. No investor I doubt an investor would pursue this as a priced round to begin with. This is why safes exist, right? This type of company is why safes and convertible notes are there, to put money into a company that you can't readily assign a value to.
And then lastly, the other thing I'd even add too as well is like with that user journey side of things, I think there's like two quick things. Is one is I think people realize when you say minimal, right? Even if you don't do the whole Figma designs, making like, kid you not, 2 screens, slapping them on a web page and seeing how many people you can drive to it to put in their email. Hey, I'm solving this problem. Put it in your email and I'm going to contact you to figure it out. And then secondly, it probably wouldn't work for this direct thing. One thing, a software that I love using and use for sales, Apollo.io. Even the free version is super clutch. And just be able to fire off a ton of different emails to people that are looking at those potential customers. There's probably not as many bar owners on LinkedIn, but I'm sure you could definitely find them, like thousands and thousands of them. That's definitely not as common as just like other corporate jobs. But that's probably what I would do. I'd probably just fire off a hell of a lot of emails from doing that.
Yeah, I completely agree. So in the broadest sense, the second to last sentence, is a solid business plan along with a functioning prototype enough to obtain an investment? What do you think about that?
I would scrap the business plan and just make a deck. I mean, I'm also like, I think I'm also for myself personally, like on the venture side, like I love decks more than memos, because like whenever you send something to an investor, like they have a bunch of inbound and they want to go through it as fast and get the point across as quickly as possible. So like, and some people like memos. I'm personally more of like a visual guy. I think you can definitely raise 200K off of that. And at the end of the day, it always comes down to the founder, especially this early. Like you're not betting on the product that much. You're like, obviously the product needs some form of validity, but like you're betting on the founder 90% of the time. Like 90% of the bet is founder, because like if something, for example, if you were to make this investment in 2019, you would hope that the founder that you invested in is good enough to pivot somehow one way or another during COVID, whenever everything shut down.
Mm-hmm. If you get a cold outreach that is a business plan and a deck, does the business plan get opened?
It does. It will just get skimmed faster. Yeah. Like the deck is like way better to go through, in my opinion, for myself.
Yeah, and that's the purpose of the deck, is to see if you can tell your story in a concise and clear way. So that, in my opinion, gets you to the next stage, which includes the business plan and so forth.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I think we answered this question. Thank you to user Goose Rage on the r/startups subreddit. Ryan, thank you so much for breaking this down with me. How can listeners connect with you?
Yeah, so for me, at Sully Does It All on actually all platforms. Twitter is going to be my most active. And then if you ever want to reach out to me via email, Sully at Workweek and Ryan at Workweek both work. They both go to the same email. And yeah, those are definitely the best ways to reach me. And if there's anything I can help with on tech, sales, VC, community building, Twitter, TikTok, I don't really know. I like helping with a bunch of different stuff. So don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, that sounds great. And definitely check out Workweek. They're doing great stuff over there. Fantastic content across the board. So Ryan, thank you. Sully, thank you so much for being on the show. And we'll talk soon.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much, Luke.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for watching this episode of Backseat Startup. Please like and subscribe for more. This show is brought to you by Startup Founder Daily. We feature founders across our platforms for free. If you'd like to apply, head to the application form in the show notes.